Okay. I'd like to call to order the Douglas Zoning Board of Appeals meeting on Wednesday, July 9th at 7:02 p.m. The first agenda item is continued public hearing for Jason Randor, case number 2025-06, 284 Northwest Main Street, and he has an application for a special permit. But before we get started with that, we have two members that are have excused absences tonight, Margaret Bacon and Jim Palmer. So Les is going to stand in for one, and Sean as well. Sean won't be able to vote because he wasn't part of the first hearing, but you can certainly participate. And so voting on this will be myself, Mike, Ron, and Les. So,
good evening.
The floor is yours.
Excellent. Mark Allen with Allen Engineering, here representing Jason and Elise Randor. Henry Lane is with us as well tonight in attendance. Since we last spoke, we have done a few things, made a few changes, and I'm going to go through those, and I'll have a couple of handouts for you as well. I don't know if your packet has the new architectural plans, but the architectural plans I've kind of provided for you. What we've gone through since the last time we spoke, we heard that the board's sort of wishes were that the house get a little smaller, get a little further away from the road, and get a little further away from the lot lines. So we have a plan in front of you tonight that has achieved those three items. So in purple, I've shown the perimeter of the property. And in orange, the house location. The house has gotten less wide, it's gotten narrower, and it's been pushed back on the lot so as to be more uniformly centered on the property. So prior, or the initial submittal, we were about 33 feet off the road. We're now at 40.5 feet. We were about 1.5 to 2 feet off the sideline. We're now about 11.5 off the sideline. What that did for us was it extended the driveway, it pushed the house back, and it made some changes to the rear of the property. One of the other items that the board had asked about was the existing structure. And the existing structure, after deliberations with Jason and Elise, they have agreed to remove all physical wood from above the stone foundation so that nothing would exist in the existing structure. Their intention is to put sort of a wooden gazebo-style covering over it so as to have a patio underneath it for lakefront sitting area and possible storage of lake products, wraps and whatnot. So they have agreed to that as well. We have also gone back to the Conservation Commission since we last met. We've been there twice. The first initial hearing, we had a certain stormwater, design in place. Since our meeting, we changed a little bit of that program by showing that we're going to take the roof off, and we actually removed a lot of earthwork that was going to go on inside the buffer zone. So they were very pleased, and they were looking to close their hearing actually at the last meeting, and we kind of said, well, thank you very much, we appreciate that, and they were comfortable with the design, but we wanted to come back to this board to have our finished product here before we go back to them. So another minor change is that the septic system and the grading around the house was able to be compacted in that area as well. They went from a traditional septic system to an innovative and alternative technology septic system which has a smaller footprint. So we were able to shrink everything up, narrow it, and push it back on the lot, and get rid of any ambiguity about the existing structure. So any questions that the board may have? Henry and myself are here to hopefully answer them.
I have a question now.
Yeah, go ahead, Mike.
You have two different plans there. You have show one with a spiral staircase, you show another one with a flight of stairs. When you turn that page around, the plan's different.
The spiral staircase would be here.
Okay.
That's a patio with stairs.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Is this an alteration to the application where this was advertised as the house that was proposed, but now they've added this pergola or whatever they were gonna call it? Should there be an amendment to the application and it should be advertised accordingly?
Yeah.
Because it's presented to the abutters one way,
Mhm.
and now it's being discussed in another manner. Is that proper?
Well, it's a definite change from the original proposal.
It's in the setback area, to Mike's point.
Well,
Mhm.
it's in the setback area, and it's another structure that's being
Yeah.
proposed on the site, and it wasn't applied that way. The first time around, they proposed keeping that structure, use it for a shed or whatever they wanted to do, and they've heard our opposition to that, and they've come up with a different plan. But now it's being presented to a way that I don't necessarily know if the abutters had the luxury of knowing this.
No, I agree. What we're looking at now is not what was applied for originally. So that's.
Dimensionally, nothing's changed. You know, the physical stone facade and foundation is the same.
Mhm.
It's just that the wooden structures, 2 stories above, have been removed.
But as you finish your conversation at the beginning, you're gonna take the structure off, you're gonna backfill the foundation, then you're gonna add some sort of, yes, you did.
I didn't say back from the foundation. We're gonna leave the grades. We're gonna take the wood off.
He didn't say,
Yeah, I thought you were gonna
Yeah.
backfill it in. I'll watch the tape, but that's what I heard anyways, or I thought I heard.
Sure.
But you're gonna do something with it. But then you're gonna add a structure to the top of it, or you can call it whatever you want, it's still a structure added to the top of it. And it wasn't proposed that way, we have no plans on it, we don't know what this structure is gonna be, and it's within the setbacks. So, I think you applied under 3.4.5.
Correct.
That's reconstruction after demolition.
Correct.
Right. Well, you demolish it, now you're proposing to put something else back in the same spot. I don't think we're allowed to do that, actually, as it's been applied for.
We usually, whatever the application is, we call it out in our decision so that
Sure.
the building commissioner and everyone knows what
Sure.
to look for.
Absolutely.
And quite honestly, we've had some issues lately where people were building covered porches and doing things that were not in the plan.
so just my other concern on the plan is that you're proposing a deck and,
Yes, that
A
came
dock.
up through the Conservation Commission. Yep.
but it's outside the property lines, right? It's on.
That's not unusual though with lakefront property
Yeah.
for them to get conservation approval to take
Okay.
it out on that.
Yeah.
I just want to cover that point.
Yep.
The deed, the
Yeah, I thought about that, but
No, just-
growing up on a lake, it's
Yeah.
very typical that the conservation will give approval because nobody owns the water.
Yeah, we own the
The
water.
association owns it.
We own gold.
Yeah, the
Paid a lot of
association.
money for that water, didn't we?
Correct.
Right, we own it.
Yeah.
See how
We own
fast
that dam.
see how fast I can get these two old
We own
guys
that
fired
dam.
up?
We damn well do it one.
Yeah. So any proposed dock has to be reviewed by the association for acceptance?
I believe so. I know the
I'm
Conservation
not
does.
touching this no more.
Yeah, I'm
That's
just,
up to these two guys.
yeah, I'm just, because the problem that you sometimes foresee is, you know, when you're trying to pull a boat in, someone else has got a dock on their property line and, you know, it becomes an issue and stuff like that. Versus a straight dock, it'd be different. You know,
But that's a,
that's association issue.
it's not a definite right now, so you don't know what he's gonna do.
We've never had a problem up there as far as docks and improving it. It was up to the Conservation Commission
Yeah,
for the 16, 17 years I was on it, so.
okay.
But I do appreciate you making an attempt to get us more than 1.5
Sure.
or 15 inches off of the property line. It was a little
See,
aggressive on an ask.
yeah, that's a huge improvement, I agree.
Yeah.
And the setback from the road allows for a minimum of a couple cars deep,
Right.
so. All right,
My concern is still the same as the first time. My second concern is being
Yeah.
that structure that's remaining.
Ken, you got any thoughts on that? I know we've
Well,
had issues.
I've got a couple of questions. One, you're showing a setback to the foundation. I thought we were doing anything that would encroach in that would include overhangs on roofs and everything else as far as the setback. This is all lined up to the foundation, not the overhangs. And there's no statement as to what the actual overhangs are.
So in the table, the table has both foundation and roof, foundation roof.
Right, so you're actually 10 feet off the line.
Correct.
Not 11 and a half.
Yeah,
So
10.
that would be a wrong number.
Well, that's the foundation, 11.5 to foundation, 10 to roof. It's in the table, it's just not on the
Right,
plan.
but they're looking for the setback
Yeah,
for the
it's-
structure.
Yeah, it's right there.
Structure.
It's right there.
But that's up to the board.
Yeah, it's in the table.
I think that should have been noted on there. The actual setback would be 10 feet, not 11 and a half.
Yeah, 10 feet to the roof overhang, 11.5 to the foundation. It's in the table. Very easy add if you'd like that as a condition. To duly note it on the plan.
And as far as the building another structure on that foundation that's there, you can't very well have a ancillary structure when you don't have a primary residence. What is it ancillary to?
This would be a primary residence. This would be.
It would be, right now, they're saying they're gonna have this. It's just be built after the structure is done, then they're gonna go down and do something down here.
Yeah, not to speak for them, I'm assuming that their thought process was to just include it into the project as being an accessory structure, but done at the same time. I don't think they're gonna build it. Well, I would think that they would try to build that and sit under it while they're watching the builders build the house. I guess.
If it's gonna be at the same time, I don't have anything
Yeah.
in my
Yeah,
permit
we-
or anything that shows anything about that structure, what it will be, what the proposal will be or anything, how it's being built or anything, so I have no clue what it would be.
I think Jason had a couple of sketches of some wood frame,
Yeah,
timber frame.
like an A-frame pavilion type, just right above, raised off the existing foundation, fieldstone foundation only.
But I don't have anything, so it's hard for me to put any of my comments to it, when
Sure.
I have nothing to comment on.
Sure. I think from the last meeting to this meeting, it's not going to be used as a residence, and none of the setbacks are going to change. The fieldstone foundation is going to remain in place. There's going to be no additions, no modifications, no grading around it. Just simply remove the root of wood above it.
But it still has to be applied for. We've had very similar situations on other properties that they wanted they called it a cabana, I think. Not pergola or gazebo, but they call it a cabana, but call it whatever you want. And they were still within their setbacks. So we don't even have any dimensions on this to show you what it is in a minor drawing as to what the structure would be. But again, the benefit of the abutters, it hasn't been advertised that way, so unless they're paying attention to Wednesday night, I don't know how they would know if they had any issue with it.
I think the abutters were all notified, and I think maybe one showed up last time, and I think the abutters...
They were notified of this new change,
No, I said...
of this new change.
No,
No.
for the initial hearing.
So the initial hearing didn't have that on there. So hear me out for a minute. We discussed about moving the house back, and we discussed about not keeping that residence, the raising.
Yes.
Right, so they could assume that that's how it was gonna be handled and left.
Sure.
And now we have another structure that's being proposed. At the end of the day, it might be fine, but I'm just
Yeah.
trying to be
Same structure, different roof.
fair to everybody.
Sure.
That's,
Same structure since the 50s.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes.
can't we put a condition on that? If we decide to approve it, put a condition on that has to be removed?
Well, they're saying they're gonna remove
They
the
wanna
existing
keep-
structure right down to the foundation. Is what,
Say that again?
They're gonna take off the building on the top, leave the foundation, and then they're gonna build an open structure, like a pergola or something like that to sit underneath. Whether or not it has an enclosed roof, I don't know.
Is there a way of putting a paragraph in there about that?
But you don't know what it is. You don't know what the structure is. There's no drawing that, we don't know what it is. So it,
we
You
usually
can't
have,
reference it too with
we
a,
usually have a drawing and then something that the building commissioner can say, yeah, they built what was
Right,
proposed.
if I had something that was submitted with what they showed with this drawing that I could have had installed into the package and it could have been advertised as such, then that would have been something, but right now I have nothing. I'm getting handed the picture right now. You guys can look at
We
it.
want plans,
Around it.
pictures.
But I have nothing stating what they were gonna do here, so.
All right, so is the board
That's sort of eight style.
reapply with that modification? It's gonna be on the same footprint, but it's different. And at our last meeting, we said we want it down.
The last meeting, I believe the board had said they wanted that building raised, the foundation, everything raised going.
Right.
so we came back with this, so I guess the question is, do you amend the application,
That's a big change,
well,
say not, but you have to amend it, yeah,
yeah.
not just,
No, I'm not saying to close your eyes and just make a decision. I'm saying that let the application get
they have to get
amended
modified.
and then just re-notify the abutters in case they wanna come and add their 2 cents, so that's all.
Yeah.
It's-
Yeah, I would think, and also to get plans for it so that we can say, not a picture, but a plan.
yeah.
This is what you're gonna build, and we can refer to the plan drawn by
Well,
so-and-so.
like we do at each meeting.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like we've done on any other structure.
I don't disagree, I mean, because it's really, helps the building commissioner. I mean,
Yeah,
You
immensely.
can't, yeah, I mean,
I
and
mean,
it's consistent with other
We wouldn't
decisions
know
we
what
made.
we're deciding on and how
Correct.
to enforce what we don't know.
Correct, well, without something in the back. I think the other question is whether, our previous discussion on this item was about removal of the whole existing structure. Not just the wood of it, but the whole foundation of it like that. And because it's almost like, I've always looked at these as like an exchange, right? I want to tear down my old camp and
Right.
build a new camp.
Yeah.
Well, part of tearing down the old camp is tearing down the whole camp,
Mhm.
So is that?
We've made that mistake once already. Acting in good faith, and
Yeah.
it just didn't work out.
No.
No, it's now a rental,
Yeah.
so.
Well,
Go
and with the picture that got passed around, you throw some walls on it, now it's an enclosed structure. They've done the hard part.
To the chair, typically when I bring something to the board,
Mhm.
I have a full set of drawings showing you exactly what's going on with the property, and that's what I present to the board.
Right.
So if there's something modified within this drawing, I mean, I would say anything's a modification, but if it's modified to this drawing, I don't have any documentation to it, so there's no way I can bring it to the board.
All right, so does the board want to get a modified application, and then we'll
I would think.
ask for a architectural plans, not a picture, but architectural plans, so we know what we're approving?
How many bedrooms is this house? 3? 3. How big's your septic?
3-bedroom.
With the shading and old eyes, I can't see what it would say. but-
Yeah, that's why I had to zoom in on my phone.
Would it be the board's discretion to vote, or at least render a decision on the application for the new structure and require a separate application for the existing structure? If we're gonna re-advertise and re-notify the butters, could tonight solidify the existing structure, the main house?
So my opinion on that, Dan, if you don't mind me
No, go
jumping
right
in, is if we did that, I'd want, agreed upon to have the entire old structure taken out. Is that what you want to do?
No, I was asking.
So I'm just asking you. I'm not gonna agree to leave the foundation there when I don't even know what it is that's gonna go there.
No, so you're asking for another application, which is fine. I think that's going to be amenable to the group. My question is tonight, can we decide on the, if there's going to be a second application, do you close out the first?
So we can modify the original application
Okay,
to include that, that
change.
change. Yeah.
But
I think what you're looking to say is, are there any other, hi, I'm Elise.
Okay,
I'm
you just need to state your name and address, because we have a minute taker that's...
Thank you. My name's Elise Randor. I'm the owner of 284 Northwest Main. I think in interpreting what you're saying is any final feedback for the building, the home that we're looking to build.
Yes.
So I think that we're happy to do what you're requesting, but we just want to know whether we should be working on two things simultaneously, or if we can just say we've satisfied our setbacks and where our septic is going to go, et cetera, and move forward with.
If we come back at the next meeting and instead decide to talk about the proposed house, then it's time wasted tonight.
Would you be interested in a straw poll on the actual location of that structure? It wouldn't be official, but if that, I think what they're looking for is a level of comfort. Can I finish what I'm saying, John?
Sure.
He'll see it.
You didn't see me. put my
What they're
sense
looking
anyway.
for is and I would have told them anyway, I watched pretty good. A level of comfort that the structure itself is in a suitable or an acceptable location. So, and then Ms. Barbera has a question.
Go ahead, Joe.
Mr. Chairman, John Lombardo from 280 Northwest Main Street, the neighbors to them next door. You know my situation with them as far as what we have going on within the lawsuit. I would request that the chairman and this board ask town council if this is appropriate, because what they're asking for is, if you can see the right of way that comes down and behind it, they want to keep on going from my property to their property. And right now, they got a driveway that goes from the very road to Northwest Main Street, all the way down almost to, actually, it's to the house that's there now. If you had not gone up there and take a look at it, the situation is they want to use that, my 10-foot by 75-foot as a way in. And I'm asking if the board would go forward and ask town council if this would be appropriate at this time. And our lawsuit is not up until the end of August, if it doesn't get postponed. So,
Mr. Chairman, on what's being presented to us is showing a proposed driveway off of Northwest Main Street. Does it show any driveways or any way to access down to that right of way that Mr. Bombara is describing? But what I had suggested was just to acknowledge their request to so they can leave here tonight understanding whether or not we're in agreement of the location of the house, not necessarily approve the application, but just to, if we're fine with the location of the house, then they can concentrate on whatever they're gonna do with this other thing that they want on there.
Yeah.
Is that right?
Yes.
I personally am satisfied that they have moved it back from the road and further from the lot lines, which is what we were asking them to do.
Yeah.
So there's been a,
does that stay to 50 feet that you asked for before?
I'm sorry,
Is it does still 50 feet? or is it
40 feet.
Yeah, that's good.
Just a question to the chair. Well, I think the other thing that Mr. Allen highlighted was going forward with just the house footprint and coming back with the second application for the pergola. You know, do we weigh in on and decide tonight saying, we're okay with the house with the condition of demoing and removing the existing?
Yeah, so what I was thinking with that was, instead of, if you don't mind, Mr.
Yeah,
Chairman,
go ahead.
I think it's gonna get very confusing if we do two different decisions on this. And as the applicant and her engineer requested was, can you just tell us if we're in the right spot, right? And if they can leave here with that, I think they're comfortable with it. If I'm wrong, tell me.
Spot on.
Well,
I think that's what you're
sounds
looking
like
for,
we're on
right? Just
point
to
when it
make
comes
sure, so
to-
you
In the
just
right
have another
direction.
stumbling block with this,
Yes.
with the existing foundation, however that turns out. But in fairness to all the abutters and everything else, I think we need to at least make them aware of the fact of what you're trying to do.
Sure. Okay.
So, I'm not ready to make a decision
No.
tonight. You need 4 votes, by the way. And you only got 4 people tonight, so it's
Yeah.
not in your best interest to try to
Yeah.
push it too hard.
I think they moved the house in a big improvement from where it was. I think it was like 3.5 feet off the property line, or if not less. So I think they're headed in the right direction.
Yeah,
Something like that before us.
I'm personally satisfied with what they've done to move it from the sidelines, move it back from the road.
Yep.
And I also would like to keep it as one application
That's fair.
and
I think it's gonna be cleaner and it's gonna be easier for the building inspector to try to
Yeah, that's fair.
monitor. We have one set of plan that's in the file
Mhm.
that captures the entire thing. You said something about August. It's July now, so you'll be in August, so I guess by then you'll.
but that's a
Yeah,
similar,
whatever
that's a
your
similar
personal
situation,
things
not
going on,
a
that's something, no,
zoning.
but
Yeah.
that's,
That's not our
they
scope.
can work through that, so.
Just want you to consider.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, and we just need some detailed architectural plans for that,
The existing structure.
whatever the term is for
Yeah.
what's gonna be built there.
That and some, measurement.
Yeah.
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 Does he have a follow-up report?
If I could just ask, procedurally, would you like, we're obviously keeping the application, we're going to modify the application, we're going to do a new narrative to explain what's going on. Would you like us to re-advertise in the paper? Should I coordinate with Jen Kuchar?
Yeah, I mean, it is a significant change, so I think it needs to be advertised and notify the abutters.
Okay.
But,
Would you have plenty of time before
Yeah.
the next
Yeah.
meeting, so.
yeah.
Do they need to fill out any paperwork? For the
Is that right?
Do they need to fill out
Extension?
paperwork for the extension?
Yeah.
Wouldn't they, as far as from my department, they should be modifying their original application for the building permit, showing everything also.
Mhm.
Yeah. What
If they're doing it all in conjunction together.
Well, they're still working off your original denial. so
Correct.
Right, but the original
you can
denial
fill out
had
an
nothing
application, but it's
to do with
not
that.
gonna
Should get denied.
change
To
the
your point,
process.
they should give you the
So
updated
if you
drawings.
can Fill another
And
application.
The application should be modified.
Yep.
Yep,
Agreed.
he just agreed to do that, so.
Huh?
He just agreed to do that because I asked him when we were talking.
So, someone want to make a motion to continue the public hearing, and let's just make sure we're all on the same page, giving them guidelines on what we expect.
What's the date of next month's meeting?
It's right here, August 5th. Let me check it. Check the date. Make sure that is
Six.
6th. It's down with the scribble marks.
August 6th? Yep.
Yes, August 6th.
Make a motion to continue the public hearing for case number 2025-06 until August 6th.
Second the motion.
Okay. We have a motion by Mr. Fitzpatrick, seconded by Les, sorry. Couldn't get that out, Les.
Stevens, nice try.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you very much. Is that your pen?
No, that's yours. I tried to take, but it's what.
I don't think you can give us too much detail on that other building, so if you could submit whatever you would submit for a building permit,
Sure.
you know, and then there'll be no question if it's approved, then Ken knows what to expect.
The overhang and everything else.
Unfortunately, we've had a lot of
Yeah. No?
people who submit one thing and do something else. and-
I would even ask, even though he put the overhangs in the table, that should be shown on there
Yeah.
already.
Okay.
2 dimensions.
Could you do that as well, Mark?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
There's a tape of this,
Just-
right?
Yes, sir.
There's a tape.
Good.
All right.
The next agenda item is discussion with North Brown, possible vote, and
I'm sorry, what are you talking about?
Dale, Tim, do you guys want to join us?
Okay, I didn't realize. Now I know why. Okay.
All right, we are in a meeting, guys.
Yep.
You want to stay?
You can grab a seat.
All right, all right.
Yeah. Grab a seat. Yeah, this is
Yeah,
good, right? Yeah.
Hey, Mike. How you doing, Mike?
Should hang around, see what you guys are up to.
You should. Yeah, no.
No, that's why you're here. So this is it, you're all done now? You're all sold?
No.
Thanks, guys. See ya.
Yep.
Hang on a second. Go ahead.
So, one of the
There's
items,
3 of them.
probably a simple one, was about the light.
Yep.
And you did submit something, I believe. Do you have a copy of what you submitted, of the new light request?
I do.
Okay.
And the last page, I actually, I have 2. I was going to show you another one. Here's the one we submitted.
Okay.
And,
Just for our minute take. Could you
oh,
just-
Tim Barlow,
Okay.
developer from North Brown.
Minute taker, sorry.
Sorry, thank you. And here's another one that's got an extended arm that's more similar to the,
Joe? Okay. So, just to bring everybody up to speed, Neil had mentioned to Ken that the lights they proposed back in 2009 or whatever
Yes.
are no longer available. And I know there was a complaint about lack of lighting on that street. What's there now is 8 feet tall, am I right?
Yes.
And the fixture is relatively small. So they came back with a proposal to, this is the one that's most similar to what was originally proposed. I think it's
Does it have a height on
13
this
feet
one?
tall.
13 to 16. Get extensions.
I think
And we were gonna do
the
16.
original ones were proposed at 15 and a half, I think.
Yes, yeah, so we can do the 16 feet with the extension.
Are they going on the granite posts that are there?
No, we would have to put in new light pieces.
They're like basically, okay. Okay, because I drove through there, I saw some granite posts, and I wasn't sure if that was
Yeah,
part
there
of
was
the-
a disconnect in,
Okay.
there was a change in the plan.
Okay, just,
Yeah,
That'll be the new house number marker.
yeah. I'll go to my house.
Yeah.
I think the one that you had originally showed me, Neil, is the one that John has in his hands now, and then that's the second version.
Correct.
I know I talked with you, either Tim or you, with regards to the looms that were available out of it. And it's adjustable from 560 to 15,000 or something like that.
Correct.
Mr. Chairman, may I ask a
Go
question?
ahead.
I know it's I understand completely if you can't answer it. That's the reason. Why is it no longer available? Do you have any idea? Is the company made it in such a particular way that
Yeah,
that
they were-
format was
they-
caused in the world? Or?
They were traditional lights, incandescent, and mostly everybody's LED now.
Okay.
And they're not making that style anymore.
okay. So it's a style of like,
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
the company's still in business, but
The company's still in business.
The fixture's
but
not available.
Yeah, it's
Doing
an
LEDs
incandescent
now.
light. Yeah,
Yeah.
these are LEDs.
Taking to the time.
I apologize, Meg.
No, that's
No, great
quite all
question.
right, yeah.
I believe all that was, on the like quality was depending on the luminaire that you put into it.
Correct,
Whereas
yeah,
these new LEDs are adjustable.
adjustable.
Do we know what the coverage area was from the original one, Tim, to what this one is?
No, we don't, because the light was just whatever bulb you put in it, so whatever incandescent bulb you put in, yeah, they didn't come with the bulb. So you can make them brighter, darker, but these ones, LED are adjustable.
Okay.
So I would say to the board that if they were approved to do that, that would be something that would be at a nighttime, just go out and see what you got for a loom pattern on the ground and night flooding of light. Because they, like I said, I think they go all the way down to 560 and they go all the way up to 15,000, I think, with a number, something like that.
Yes, correct, yeah.
Just to the chair, regarding lighting, you can actually put the lighting in the plan and do the loom based upon what proposed plan to look at where the spread is. I've seen it in planning board discussions where, because sometimes you have to put a lighting shield because you're too bright and you're into the neighbor's bathroom or something like that, or bedroom area. So you may want to look at something like that to figure out how many fixtures you need or how many was proposed and what the spread is to be able to turn it down versus.
Yeah, but with this one, you can just adjust the amount of light.
Yeah.
So it can be brighter or dimmer.
Yeah.
Yeah, so they're adjustable in that sense. The quantity, I would assume, be the same that was proposed. We wouldn't change the quantity.
Right.
Yeah.
And if there was a complaint, it wasn't bright enough or whatever, there's adjustments that can be made.
Correct.
So,
Did your original paperwork, I thought it showed a light spread at the base of that light.
I'm not sure.
Light spread for just a shadowing.
Yeah,
Not positive.
I'm not sure.
Go on the third page of this document. It looked like, I'm embarrassed myself, again, with the lumens. I don't know if that's the same
Yeah.
with the area.
16 and
The light is
27.
showing up.
Yeah, it's saying
Distance, yep.
brightness 1600 lumens.
Does that doesn't mean anything.
That's just
What you're looking for.
But that, actually, I think
And
that-
again, where the original light
Yeah.
didn't have any lumens,
Yeah.
it was just whatever incandescent bulb we wanted.
What was the original light made out of? Was it a cast head on it?
I think it was aluminum.
cast aluminum.
And it was cast aluminum?
Yeah.
I noticed these, like that one with the hoop on it, that's a sheet metal dome that's on that.
Mm-hmm.
The longevity of the light, is it gonna be equivalent?
We were looking for aluminum. It's not
Yeah.
saying that we can't find something
Yep.
similar to this
Yep.
in aluminum. We're trying to agree, I think, in concept on the style.
Yeah.
Well, we're going with the style, the original design was more of a downcast light like that one there,
Mhm.
correct?
Agreed.
Versus having a coach light top to it, like the other one.
Yes, and this one also is down. That's why I chose that one, because it is,
Yeah.
even though it does look like Coach Light, it is coming down.
Yeah.
Was the original light designed to be turned, the face, I'm asking you a stupid question, but was it designed to be turned to face the street or the sidewalk?
It isn't described.
So you wouldn't put it sideways? Not necessarily,
I
I
would-
wouldn't think.
I'm not really sure. That's why I like the ones that weren't turned, so they weren't facing into the street.
Yeah.
They would be centered, they go on the grass strip in between the sidewalk and the road. So it would cast equal on the sidewalk and the roadway. But this one, you're right, I don't know which way.
Well, I'm
We
just
turn-
wondering-
Mostly
I'm
they
just
would
wondering
turn to
if
the
they-
roadway,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, typically lights that I see
Yeah.
in developments, they're all overhanging
All
the
over
road,
the
not the
roadway.
sidewalk.
Yeah.
Unless they're on the back side of the sidewalk, then they're overhead of the sidewalk.
Yeah.
anybody have a preference with either style?
I think my.
I just question the sheet metal versus the cast, that's all. Not trying to be difficult, but I'm looking at something that might last a little longer than a year or two.
I think this is aluminum. That's what I was looking for when I looked, was aluminum lights. But it's not on here, but I can get, Ken, I prefer the whole thing aluminum.
You're going in the right
Yeah.
direction, if that helps you at all.
So if we can agree on a style, Ken can approve once I get what the materials are.
Anybody got a problem with
Well,
style?
Style in the sense that it's either gonna have a top on it or it's gonna have a bent shroud to it, or those, you
I'm
choose
saying-
between these two lights.
I'm saying this light
Yeah.
if it's aluminum, which I'm pretty sure it is.
Okay. That's what you're proposing. Okay.
Yeah,
And the top, and the height is gonna be
16 feet.
16 feet? Okay.
I apologize, I noticed we do have an audience, I don't know if maybe they are here for this and want an opportunity to be heard on it, I don't.
I'll just make sure that all the board members have asked their
Yeah.
questions, and I can
Yeah.
open it up. Yeah,
I'm sorry.
no, it's not a problem.
And they're gonna be in the concrete pylon?
Yeah, we would
Bases?
pour a
Or
concrete
footing,
base,
Okay,
yeah, with anchor bolts in it,
okay,
and it comes with a bolt pattern.
okay. And then, and the base is gonna be so many inches, I'm worried about like snow and rock salt and rotting them out and stuff like that.
Yeah, that would have to be, see how you guys propose it.
Yeah, that's all. It makes it easier on you guys, you know what I mean?
Mhm.
Sometimes, yeah. Grading and everything else, so just, you don't
I
want to
don't
go back
believe
and
that
run out.
sidewalks are too much higher than the road on the sides.
No, they're
Yeah.
not, no, because the water sheds over the sidewalks to go into the rain
Right.
gardens.
Okay.
Yeah,
Perhaps you want
basins.
your footings to be elevated off.
You would want them up, or you want them level with the grass?
I would call on the board to make their decision on that, but I would think they would want them up if they have a concern with snow and all that.
I would, my preference is, you know, I mean, I don't know, can't speak for the other members, but I'd want the bases up a little bit more because of, you know, any water material and everything else, electrical going through. It would just protect the base better
Okay.
and be in the best interest. It's
So
not,
keep them a foot out of the ground.
We're gonna go that
and we,
6 inches.
6 inches,
Yeah.
6 inches,
It
that's all.
gives you
Say
a,
minimum 8 inches.
Yeah.
Fair enough?
There you go.
Thank you.
Dan split it.
Yeah. If it's 10, it's 10, but
Yeah.
a minimum of 8. Fair enough?
Yeah.
That's very good.
it also gives the ability for the landscapers to do their weed whacking without hitting the actual light fixture too.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that makes sense.
Although we all know they're very cautious on what they do.
Is there anybody in the room that wants to speak on this lighting issue?
Are they using the granite poles, or they're replacing the granite?
They're gonna replace the granite with a taller
With a pole, what's this pole made out of?
aluminum.
Aluminum?
Aluminum or sheet metal?
Well, we're talking aluminum at the moment, so,
That hasn't been defined as of yet.
Yeah.
It's a question that I had asked, so we're getting some clarification on it.
The general appearance on it,
The,
sorry. I apologize.
no?
I would like, is this something that's time sensitive, we have to make a decision on this tonight?
Well, I guess the sooner they know, the sooner they can start.
Yeah.
You know.
But I've been waiting for cracks to be fixed at 17, so I guess we can wait another month for a light.
If you could get some answers, Tim, about the material, if it
I
was.
would want a
Absolutely.
little bit more, and I'm gonna tell you what I'm hesitant about, Tim, just to be fair to you. When I'm
Thank you.
looking through that thing, that's a sectional pole.
Mhm.
It appears to be a very light gauge pole, and I'm concerned about the longevity of the pole itself.
Okay,
So I'm gonna have to get the specs on the original one to be fair to you, to make sure I'm not trying to ask you for something that wasn't originally agreed upon.
Mhm.
But if we're gonna replace it with another light fixture, I would think that we would want something of like kind, for a similar quality and construction. If it had a sheet metal one like that at the beginning, I guess that's what you got. That looks to be, lack of a different, better description, an inexpensive light fixture that I don't necessarily think it's gonna hold up for a long period of time, especially with plowing and that stuff.
I think just checking with the manufacturer to see if these are, or the supplier, if these are used in driveways versus private roads. You know what I mean? Because,
Yeah, is it a commercial application?
Yeah.
It is, they're from
I
a
mean-
parking lot.
Nobody has a
Like
16-foot light in their driveway.
manufactured. Yeah,
Nobody I know.
yeah, they were from parking lots.
Nobody I know.
have to ask the question, you know, I don't
Oh,
want
that's
it to,
fine.
residential versus commercial kind of,
But now that I know we're okay with that kind of design, I can find something that meets what you're
Yeah,
looking
because
for.
there's no pot number, no nothing on this that I could even look it up to see, I guess I could.
I will bring you all that information.
This fixture here has the specs on it. It's The shaft is cold roll, first quality carbon steel. The anchor, let's see, what was it? The base cover is a two-piece ABS plastic base cover.
Plastic versus metal base cover, that's different. Usually metal. But
Is it possible that you could email us that plan that has that light on that? And I can look it up and see what it actually started off as.
Then we had information from Haley and Ward, and then we had your response. I have to say myself, I
Haley
didn't-
and Ward's came in on the 9th, their response came in on the 7th.
it's fresh off the press.
7th, 9th.
Yeah, we sent our response, we responded to Haley Ward's last report,
Yep.
and then they came out today and verified what we were saying.
Okay.
So the report on the 9th from Haley Ward is responding to what we were
What you
saying
were-
was.
Yes.
Is the board want time to review this?
I think it just came
Well,
out.
the
There's a lot of
Haley and Ward's
information
to
here.
go through it, but it's, as Tim just said, it's impeding some of their responses. Um, So I looked through the responses that came from you guys. right?
Mhm.
So, from day one, I've always tried to be fair with you guys going through this stuff. When you take some of the other responses that came in, take a firm stance, nope, not doing that, nope. Makes it difficult to try to continue in that manner. And I'm just pointing that out. I'm not trying to be difficult about your light process, but I'm also want to make sure that we get a good product in that. I had asked Nick, that was your name again?
Neil.
Neil. I got Dan-itis. He had it earlier.
Who's that?
That's why we get along.
Yeah.
Don't give him that, don't give him that gavel.
Your son's handsome and
Who's that?
chocolate.
I had
Gavel?
We need that
Neil-
gavel.
Neil about the rain garden, and an observation that I made when I went up there within the last 30 days, which I was surprised to see because he had mucked out a couple of them, that they were filled with mulch. So then I had flashbacks to Pam Holmes and the rain gardens in whatever town that was. Were these designed to have mulch right from the very beginning? Or is that
Yes.
something that evolved?
No. It's typical for rain gardens to have a mulch layer.
Hmm.
Yeah. It's evolved now from mulch to, it's preferred to have wood chips.
Wood
rather than
chips?
mulch. Yeah,
Okay.
instead of a mulch in there, the wood chips are
Yeah.
more environmentally friendly.
Okay.
But, so my question is that how that was originally designed? Not typical?
I would say yes. Yes, that's how they were originally. And what we could do is, I think we should have our engineer, which was suggested by Haley Ward, write a synopsis on what he thinks the rain garden should be and how they were built, and then Haley Ward can comment on that.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's fair.
Yeah. I'm always just from mulch with rain. I mean, it travels. You know what I mean?
Well,
Well, they're in a bowl, so.
Yeah,
they
they're in
don't
a
travel
bowl,
much,
so it just floats
but,
up and they might not float back down. So-
I remember back when we first started this thing, about the rain gardens draining within either 24 or 72 hours, it would switch back and forth, something like that. As this material breaks down, it doesn't drain, it turns into a peat bog.
I don't think so. But they do
Well,
require,
there's a couple of them that are full, so I don't know how recent you've been up there, but
I'm up there. Rain gardens typically are designed to dissipate water within 72 hours
Yeah.
from the last rain event. So if it rains on Monday,
Yeah.
72 hours later, if it's dry the next 3 days, then it should be dry.
Okay.
Well, if you want to have your engineer,
Yeah,
to what you
absolutely.
just described, we'll have Haley and Ward review it, and then we can move forward from there.
Absolutely.
I would just ask the board, is there gonna be a consistency? Are they all gonna be mulch, or is there gonna be some grass, some with plantings, and some with mulching?
The larger basins were designed to have grass bottoms. And the
Okay.
smaller ones have the, because you can't, with the plants in there, you can't keep a grass bottom.
Are they all gonna have plantings?
What we came to, we had a construction meeting with Haley Ward, and he would like to see around 4 plants in each garden, including the large ones.
Just so as I'm driving through and I'm, taking mental notes, if the board members ask me questions, I have an answer.
Yeah, yeah.
Makes it easier.
The trees
Mhm.
on your response,
Mhm.
on the first response, that the street tree located in front of 17 is not a 2-inch, but it wasn't on the plan, right?
Yeah, it was an additional tree.
So what size is that tree?
Oh, I have no clue.
Small,
Yeah,
Yeah, 1.5
yeah.
if, maybe it's small.
Yeah. It's just an additional landscaped item. But the street trees, we provided a plan, a large plan, that shows, we have installed 60 street trees,
Okay.
and out of the 60, 57 of them are 2 inches or greater. We have 3 trees that had perished last season,
Yeah.
and we put some 3 in, and they're 1.5 inches.
Okay.
But that was all that was available at the time of installation.
Yep. Yeah, last year we had a good drought that
Yeah.
happened through, so. Yeah. And the construction sometimes disturbs the trees and stresses them out too much.
Yes.
Just a question.
Sure.
Any particular reason why they're only on one side of the street in half of phase 1 and phase 2,
I don't know.
but then on both sides of the street everywhere else?
I don't know why.
That was on the.
That was on the
That's
original
what the
plan in
original plan,
2008,
okay.
and I don't know how it ended up that way.
If you look at this plan that you have in your
Yeah.
folders, that shows the lake that was originally prescribed for that.
It's in the micro size writing.
Yeah.
Can we take a picture of every? Yeah, I can't read that micro.
I can't read it.
So. Good luck, Sean. So,
But to be honest, if it was big, I couldn't read it.
I take a picture of my phone and zoom it
The only
in.
time I seen writing smaller than that was from spreadsheets from GRLA. Remember them, Sean?
Right.
So, this particular pole, this particular lake, and I'm assuming because I'm only looking at a cartoon now, it appears to be a little more substantial than what you're proposing. So, again, I would just like to
Sure, I'll submit something else for you.
just confirm the two. Not trying to be difficult, just trying to be.
No, I want, your happiness is
Whatever,
important to me.
well, I just, whatever the original plan was is all I'm trying to go with, so you don't have to make me happy at all.
Okay. Well, that's interesting.
That's gonna be a challenge in itself.
I seem to be pretty good at it then.
Yeah, I think the way they proposing is pretty close though, because it does have that elbow.
Shape-wise, it
Yeah.
is, yes.
Yeah.
The, material-wise, I don't think. so.
Correct. Yeah, that's tough. Okay.
So, but I don't have nothing to go with. I got, the ultra-fine print versus, no information, so both of them are equal in that sense.
We
Just to
now
let
know
the
that-
board know, that's all the information I have with regards to that light prescribed. There's no cut
I know
sheets
that,
on it
but
or
if
anything.
you look here, I can pick up the word pole, finish, anchor bolts. So there is some detail in here, so.
Yes, yeah.
That'll tell us what it is.
And now we know there'll be at least 8 inches off the
Yeah.
finished grade.
I think that makes sense, you know what I mean? And I think Sean might have picked up the word "the." Oh.
I had asked Neil last time he was in, 2 months ago, about the stockpile materials that'd be hauled away, as apparently. But any thought process or schedule-wise is,
No, not yet. We're trying to get phase 4 opened up, started.
Mhm.
So we're still working on how we're gonna resolve the bond issue,
yeah.
which at this point, we're looking at a tri-party.
Mhm.
So I hope that way would be acceptable.
It's been used before.
Yeah.
How they make out with the driveways.
We've completed, I believe, 32 of them,
Yeah.
and there's 14 left to talk of.
You gotta be a little happy he's out of that, doing it more by hand.
Yeah.
Then you gonna do the roads next or no?
We
Phase
are,
one.
yeah, but we don't have the schedule yet.
Yeah.
But we are. Because what we were gonna try to do is get excuse me.
No, I just acknowledge him so he didn't think he was being ignored. I didn't want his arm to go to sleep. We had explained to Neil that when you get to the road portion of it, you need to make sure that Haley Award or whoever the engineer is at the moment is notified so they can go up there and sign off on it.
Yeah, agreed.
Doesn't our
I didn't forget you.
highway department no?
No.
Because it's private.
No,
private.
it's
Okay.
private highway.
It'll be-
Highway doesn't
Okay.
get involved
Haley
in
and
any of
Award,
that. Yeah.
Thought I'd
Always
ask.
yeah, always a separate engineer that should.
Yep. Sir, you have something you want to say?
Yeah, I just wanted to ask about if there's any schedule for the sidewalks.
No. No schedule yet.
Okay.
No.
You would do the roads before the sidewalks?
There's no schedule yet.
No,
Okay.
what he had asked is,
Yeah.
would they be done simultaneously?
I am not sure.
Yeah.
I'm not sure. Plus, one comment on the driveways, not that
Sure.
it affects me personally, there's a couple of driveways where the slope is down into the garage, so all the water runs into the garage. Is any plans on resolving that situation, maybe with some gutters across the garage door?
Yeah, that wouldn't be a zoning board issue.
Yeah.
That would be what?
That would not be a zoning board issue, that would be between the homeowners and the developer.
Oh,
So
that's a good answer.
Well,
Well, it's an honest answer.
that's the answer.
Understood.
Yeah.
yep.
Yeah. I said drove through there before this last rainstorm, and things are going along really good, you know. And talked to a lady that was living up there, and you know,
No, it's a
she's-
challenging project,
Yeah.
and
She's-
they,
she's-
to their credit, they
Yep.
have done a lot of work with it.
Yeah.
It is acknowledged, it's
Yep.
just,
Thank you.
Yeah, she was happy with, you know, and understands it's an ongoing project and stuff like that. So she's very content. So I just asked her about the lighting, you know, like, you know, hey, do you walk here at night and there's enough lighting, you know. So it was really positive. So I just want to share that with you guys.
Thank you.
That's all I got. I think we just got the Haley Award stuff that came in a little.
Yeah, because it's a lot of information to absorb in a
Yeah.
short
It's a
period
good
of
read.
time.
Yeah, we
Right over the
Oh,
weekend.
yeah. Thanks.
Yeah, we just got it in a matter of a few hours. So
Well, I can say to the board that I went through there yesterday during inspections, and they've done a lot. There's still some stuff to do. You still got 2 basins that are gravel bottoms that haven't, as of yesterday, hadn't been completed.
Mhm.
Yeah, you had put some plantings in and stuff,
Mhm.
but there's 2 that was still that way. Looked like they mowed the bottom on the big basin, not the detention, but the big basin. So that looked cleaned up. It's still, I don't know what the bottom's actually gonna end up at. It still looks very sparse at best for vegetation, so I don't know what the guidelines are with regards to the finished product on that.
I think there's some answers to that in the Haley Ward.
Phase 3 is coming along. You still have a lot of exposed dirt down in the ends where you haven't finished the unit yet, but the only thing that I see that brings a little alarm to me is you got your stockyard down at the ends of the equipment and everything. Out of privacy, if that's a work yard like that, shouldn't there be a fence between there and those people in that last condo so they're not looking at that yard? And it could be a fence that can be taken down afterwards once everything's moved out of there.
It's something we can talk about, sure. What I would like to do is, excuse me, is if we could have a construction meeting off-site in the town hall with either one or two of the board members, Ken, Haley Ward, and then we can bring all these items to light and spend a little more time and come to a resolution that we can all agree upon.
I don't think that's a bad idea.
Yeah, even signage, you know what I mean, signage so people, you know, wander a construction site, kids or whatever else, you know what I mean? So, you know, that's the challenge of sometimes, so I see what Ken's like, hey, some sort of separation.
It's a challenge.
You know, but good progress and stuff.
You've done a good job at locating everything in one spot, not all over the site, but it's just very imposing on that last condo that the people live in there.
So
I can agree with that.
I'm not picking you on this question. I want to know the answer for something else.
Sure.
Your sister in there,
Yeah.
who maintains that thing and inspects it?
We maintain it.
Yeah.
I don't think there's any scheduled inspections
But
on
to
it.
make sure it's got water in it and all
Oh,
that
yeah,
stuff?
we inspect it.
So-
Yeah.
So you
It's holding
keep some,
water.
yeah, okay.
Yeah, and the
I've
maintenance is
asked
minimal.
about that one
Yeah.
and then other ones that have been discussed, and I'm like, who's in charge? And nobody could give me an answer, so I figured
I
I'd
think
ask
it's
you while you were sitting
kind of
there.
the fire department. They come down and make sure it's operable.
Okay.
They come down there?
Yeah, they wanted to come down and practice.
They want to practice on it,
Oh,
to make sure they can.
They want to
use
come
it.
down.
Recently?
Right.
They haven't done it recently.
Well.
No, I talked to them, I think, 3 weeks ago about it.
Oh, okay. No, recent, so that's recent within this year.
Yeah.
You thought, yeah.
that's good. Get some familiar
The
with
last
it.
time I seen
Yeah.
you to now, they probably have a whole new staff at the fire department.
That's
But I haven't seen you in a while. You always send him out to get his lumps on his head.
I do. I felt bad for him. He
You
dragged
didn't
me
feel
in
bad,
tonight.
Mom. You chuckled and something.
Is there any kind of an inspection log or anything maintained on that cistern assembly?
No.
Just an FYI for your insurance factors.
Okay.
You might want to think about finding out if you need to do that, because if they were to go down and hook up, and for some reason it didn't work, they're gonna probably be looking to you for your maintenance schedule
Yeah.
on that.
Yeah, that's interesting. Thank
They
you.
won't hurt you
Yeah.
and stuff like that. And
Yeah.
coordinate it with the fire department because it's
Yeah,
a good idea.
yeah, it's a
because,
great idea.
You know. So.
Mr. Chairman, Sean just asked me about
Paragraph
something that's in Haley and Ward's response on the number 7, and it identifies the driveways. It's on the 3rd page.
Yep.
And it's identifying the driveways. Is this or is this not part of our oversight until it's done? Right? It was part of the original design, plan design that was submitted. And if the driveways haven't been top coated, is it still under the construction purview, oversight? That's a question that I would have, and I had it before. I touched on it a little bit, but then Sean just pointed this out, that he specifically called out driveways in front of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 different units. And they answered, you got an answer in there to it. But the point I'm trying to get clarity on is whether or not it's something that is actually under our purview.
Good question. I thought,
Jay kind of gave us a half-ass answer last time, but I don't know if he necessarily stopped to consider what he was saying to us, because it's, in general, if you're doing a subdivision, you want to get involved in the driveways going up to the houses when you're doing it, as far as the planning board or zoning or something like that. But this here being a 40B project, and we're looking at it as a whole, is that something that we're supposed to be paying attention to? And I'm not trying to start more trouble for you, I'm just. I
Just
want
clarification,
clarity on
yeah. I think in the planning board situation, the slope of the driveway and the material of the driveway, you know, would be a topic that the planning board weighs in on. To your point, I think we just need clarification, because where this is a 40B and you're doing the whole
And if
plan.
you can take stuff away from us, I'm more than happy to.
Yeah, no, I think we just need clarification. You know what I mean? It's kind of one of those things, it's a hybrid situation, right?
Understood.
And that's what makes it weird, because it can go either way, depending on,
We built, I think, 92 units in there
Yeah.
with the driveways installed.
Yeah.
We have 32 left.
yeah.
I think we kind of defined that who's in the purview of the driveways.
Well, you just,
So,
And at the beginning of the project,
what-
it should have been
so you-
defined, if it's a question.
Yeah,
but I mean, this is a entire project, that's a private project, it's not like a public road going through there. So I don't know why all of the top coat wouldn't be incorporated into that project.
Yeah, well, I think it should have been described in the permit if that was the case, and discussed at the beginning of the project.
Okay. So, I wasn't here that much. As much as I don't want to, I guess I'll have to read through the MOU to find out whether or not it's something that we're supposed to understand, because I can't get a clear answer from anybody.
Oh,
Right. So,
Mr. Cundiff was pretty thorough with us.
Mr. Cundiff is no longer
I
here.
understand that,
I'm
but
gonna read through the
I
MOU
think he
and I'll
would
get
have.
my own answer.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. I think we just need clarification. That's why
sure.
it's such a hybrid situation where it's, you know, one or the other and stuff like that. And maybe it is.
we did try to get an answer from town council, and
Yeah, no, so I'll read the MOU
Yeah.
myself and get
We,
my own
yeah.
answer, if I can find it.
we
I
didn't
can
get
find
an
it.
answer.
So,
I got just a question through the chair. When you guys do the paving schedule for the top coat for the road, how are you guys going about, like, how many units you're gonna do in front of units and stop, and coordinating that with the residents there
Phases.
in phases?
Yeah, so it'll be phase 1, phase 2, phase 3, and then the boulevard entrance would be
Okay.
the very last.
Okay.
Yeah.
And you're like notifying all the tenants via a mailer or something, or a flyer, or?
The HOA
Okay.
is doing a
HOA.
pretty good job of doing that, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so
Okay.
they're notifying everybody, and
Cool.
everybody's been very cooperative.
All right. Is there gonna be like an overflow, like recommendation, like a overflow parking or parking? Like, let's say someone couldn't get their driveway because they're in the paving,
Mhm.
for some purpose or reason and stuff like that. Is there a spot being designated? Should someone park there and
We're
walk
just-
down?
Yeah, I'm just parking.
The playground?
Yeah,
I'm just,
yeah, we haven't,
just something to consider.
Yeah.
You mean, that's all. It cools the tempers if someone knows, okay, hey, there's a temporary parking here for while they're paving or something like that, and designated. If you do the playground, where they can walk in or something like that, just trying to help you the cause when you guys go do this, because it's challenging with the homes already in, and you're trying to do this through, and you know, if it was a wider road, you know, you could do one half and it really wouldn't disturb, because people could deal with the other half the next day or stuff like that. But it's you
yeah,
know,
we've done type projects like this before. and
Okay.
Everyone just kind of congregates and parks down in their area, because the paving actually goes pretty quick
Right.
on the roadway, and you can drive on it right away.
okay,
Yeah, it's not like you stay off it like your driveway for
okay.
a certain number of days.
It will probably be inconvenience a day in each phase.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Through the chair, did you give any more thought to the mailbox issue at the end of the development and the safety of people pulling in there to get their mail and all that, and not being any place for them to safely get out and get their mail.
If you are feeling out, that's, the mailbox location was picked by the postmaster. We didn't pick that.
Yeah.
Yeah, so he came in and picked that location. The playground parking lot is right behind that, so people could park right in there and walk right over to get the mail.
But is that a shovel path in the winter?
Well, it can be.
You know?
There might be something to talk to the postmaster to say, hey, because I think the challenge is just there's not like a turn off to get mail.
There's no room.
Correct. Yeah, so it might be just saying, hey, we've had these issues, talking to the postmaster, just relocating it to the playground area, and then notifying through the association to say, hey, we moved it over here, and actually, it's not a bad area if you did, you know.
But the playground area is town property.
What was ours? We don't get it.
Well, or another designated area. The problem is the turn-off lanes. You know what I mean? Because you kind of need 2 to 3 spots. You know, I'm trying to think of the one on Joseph Drive.
Well, the postmaster picked a spot,
Yeah.
we wanted it at the end of the roadway in this area, but I don't know that they had the authority to say, this is where you're gonna put the bag.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
They pretty much do.
Yeah.
Yeah, they dictate where they want it.
Their way or no way.
Yeah,
These two
it really is.
suggested lights that you brought in, you just brought them in tonight, or did you submit them before?
No, I just brought them in tonight. One was submitted a couple of weeks ago, but it was just really to get a concept. Is this,
Okay.
are we going in the right direction? And if you want more information, or maybe a more
Yeah.
different types of materials, so we'll bring you stuff to choose from. And now that I know what you like, we can go that way.
Okay. And then if you want to set up some sort of a meeting to get Haley and Ward and maybe a couple of members and
What's the purpose of that?
just to hash out some of the things that are open.
Yeah, we would like to get to a point of completion for phase 1, 2, and 3.
Mhm.
You know, so because the way the permit's written is mostly like a covenant. So I'd like to know that those areas are acceptable.
I'm just curious, why wouldn't we do it at a meeting?
The way I took the mentioning of it was he was thinking like a site walk and a walkthrough.
We can do that, yeah.
The way I took it is he wanted to have a meeting with the building commissioner, a couple members of this board, Haley and Ward, sit down and
Maybe his
hash out
engineer.
some details.
And our engineer hash
Okay.
things out. And we can do a sidewalk, isn't a bad idea either.
And it's a lot to try to accomplish in one evening if we
Yeah.
get multiple cases.
Yeah,
So I think we could probably accomplish more
Thank you. Yes.
doing that without any other things on the plate. So I'm not opposed to that. Anybody want to participate in that?
Nope.
We'll get a new member, Sean.
Sean knows more about this project than you do.
No, he's been involved in
He's
it.
spent a lot of years on this.
He took some time off, came back, and
He's having
the project's still in.
He's having flashbacks, reconsidering his application to come back.
I'm just enjoying the former fight.
He actually thought it'd be completed before he came back.
He was hoping that.
You felt like you didn't miss
So was the
anything.
other-
It's still on the agenda.
I'm not that naive.
No, if it helps the engineers to get together, but I would assume this is already happening liquid, based from the exchange back and forth and stuff like that. So, but
I guess you could do that, but it's still a board decision.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. It's just to try to move things along.
Yep.
Perhaps get a clarified document that can be presented to the board and say this is the steps that they're proposing to follow to get this completion, to get wherever they want to go.
I guess if you can accomplish that. And ask for it at the meetings, and it's not determined yet, it's, I don't know, and so I guess if you can get it out of that meeting, it'd be good.
All right. Anything else?
So that's whatever the board wants to do on that, let me know with regards to setting something up, if you want me to set up something.
It's gonna take a little coordination, I guess, to get
Yeah.
all the parties there.
Yeah.
But I think it would be more productive, maybe a site walk, and then
Yeah.
came back here for an hour, would accomplish more than we do in 2 hours in a
Or 4 meetings.
full meeting, yeah.
Yeah.
You know, and again, it is a board decision, but you know, our goal is to try to
Yeah.
accomplish as much as we can.
What do you think, Sean?
I barely think, but thank you. But it seems that I'm being thoughtful. Thank you.
All right. So, well,
Yeah.
you wanna be the coordinator again?
That's fine. I'll set up something, and I just need to know who's gonna be planning on attending.
All right.
I think it would matter on dates and times and stuff like that, so, and worst cases, Jen can post a public meeting just in case.
Mhm. You know, Margaret
Yeah.
has the expertise that
Oh,
none of
100%.
us have,
Yeah,
so.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, yeah.
Might be a good choice.
yeah, whoever's available and to be able to go.
Yeah.
That's it.
Just give me a list of names.
Okay.
I know who to be emailing and.
Yeah, try to coordinate some dates and figure out.
Yep.
Cool.
All right.
All
Thanks
set?
for coming.
Yeah,
Thanks for
appreciate
coming in.
Thank you, guys.
Thanks for the update.
The next item is the minutes of May 7th.
Skipping over the mail.
Ron, the mail's non-existent.
All good. Alright, cool. Let's see.
Have a good night.
Thank you.
Take care.
We got a bridge I want to sell you.
What do you say?
Here's a bridge to the south.
I think, on number 3, I think the only that be, okay, it's good there. Sorry.
So it doesn't acknowledge where Les recused himself, and that would have been on number 2.
It says on number 1 that I recused myself.
Oh,
And then,
what, you were gone at the very beginning?
yeah, I was going on number 1 and 2, and it says I returned
Oh, all right.
to the table on number 3. And then Margaret recused herself.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I picked it up, that's what I am.
Yeah, you're only out on 2.
Good.
Yeah. Anybody wants to make a motion?
Hold on, waiting for Ron.
You go with it, Ron?
Good.
Yeah.
I'll make a motion to approve the May 7th, 2025 minutes as written.
Do we have a second? Okay, we have a motion to approve the minutes as written, and we also have a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Minutes are approved as written. Okay, and we're at the minutes for June 11th.
They're a little lengthy.
Don't close that tab too soon.
We'll continue this, this is pretty lengthy.
That's them. Yep.
Yeah.
I'm gonna, can we pass over these? I
Is there a
need time to
no-go
read
or
them.
go-no, whatever it's called? One of those cameras somebody puts on their head.
2 months?
Memorialize the event.
Continue for 2 months?
What's it called?
A GoPro.
Was there a GoPro that we used to videotape it, or was Madam Stenographer unable to help?
No, actually, I had a discussion with her.
Well, you don't know. I try not to trip on the sidewalk. That's what I try to do, you know? I mean, and I think,
Ken, you were there?
yeah,
We're at the sidewalk.
yeah.
Stop
Talking
with
to
me.
you.
You parked behind me.
I was their body, not mine.
I didn't know if you were next up.
All right. So,
You
I
want
make a
these?
motion to approve the minutes of June 11, 2025 as written.
I'll second the motion on that.
all right, we have a motion by Mr. Fitzpatrick to approve the minutes of June 11th, seconded by Mr. Stevens. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Minutes are approved as written.
And we have signed our vouchers, so if we have nothing else, Mr. Chairman, then I make a
Did
motion
you do that
with
decision?
that.
Did you guys sign that decision?
Yep.
Did you have a decision in that?
Yeah. The people
Is it in
who
this
could,
packet?
yeah,
No.
to get the gap there.
Get the yellow.
There it is, right here. Yep.
That's for Wixted.
Yep.
Yeah, you got it.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then keep this with that.
We,
Yep.
okay. Days will
What day sign were you supposed to sign? Oh, no, I signed where I was supposed to sign.
be- No, just for the
The
date.
ninth.
Top of my head.
Whatever Dan's got, I call it.
To make the motion?
Make a motion to adjourn.
Okay, we have a motion by Mr. Fitzpatrick to adjourn,
I'll second the motion.
seconded by Mr. Stevens. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Meeting's adjourned at 8:25.